Why do Airbnb hosts complain that other guests left the place dirty and yet they charge a cleaning fee? Well, that's a fair question. And what it comes down to is this: it's new space. And you're like, what? What is new space? New space is this. Whenever, as humans, we go into a new space, we're taking in everything around us. And it's kind of like sensory overload. Do you remember when you started driving a car and you get in the car and you're scared a little bit and you don't know if you should push on the gas or the brake, or when do you take your foot off the brake, and how is the engine engaging, and are you supposed to back up now, and do you look this way or do you look that way? And there's all this stuff to remember, and oh yeah, there's nobody behind me, right? And then you have to get ready to drive down the road, and oh yeah, the speed limits, and how fast am I supposed to go? And there's just so much going on. And so when we come home from driving on the first experience, we have all these stories to tell about different signs, and it went from 35 to 45, and then it jumped back down to 35 just like that with no warning, right? We're talking about speed limits. You have all these stories to tell, but after you've been driving for years, you get in the car and you arrive at your destination and you're like, whoa, I don't even remember driving here. And yet you passed all the same signs, you backed up out of the drive the same way, you hit the road the same way, you stopped at the same stop signs, you stopped at the same stop lights, you followed all the rules of the road, but it's just second nature. So when you are in a new space, there's all this sensory overload, and it happens a lot with Airbnb hosts who are hosting as new hosts. So they haven't figured it all out yet, and they haven't experienced it all yet. And so a customer might leave some, tomato juice from a tomato that they cut up on the cupboard, and the host will come in and, how dare they leave tomato juice on my cupboard, right? And then after they've been in business for a few years and they've experienced a few damages and a few breakages, and they've had noise and the cops have been called and there are all these other things going on, they walk in and they pray that all they find is tomato juice on their cupboard, right? So it's easy to complain about guests because you're new, you're in this new space. And so yeah, they charge a cleaning fee because they got to turn around and hire a professional cleaner. But then they're hearing it back from the cleaner as well. So the cleaner is in a new space and the cleaner has these stories to tell. But did you know that the cleaner's responsibility is to do a damage control and to take pictures of before and after? So these are the before pictures when I arrive at the house. This is how the guest left the place. And the reason that's important is because maybe they have to charge extra for cleaning. If the house cleaner has to charge the Airbnb host for extra cleaning, they're going to pass that charge on to you. So if you get hit up with an extra bill that says, hey, you have to pay extra money, you need to be able to see the pictures and go, yeah, I left the place extra messy. So that does make sense. Then after they tidy everything up and they clean everything up, then they take pictures again. This is how the place looked before the next guest. So when they come in to take those before pictures, before they clean, those pictures are going to say, this is from the last cleaning before these people arrived. This is how they left the place. And they can tell very quickly if you damaged something, or if you broke something, or if you were in fact the one that left the place terribly messy. So everything is documented. And so as these stories are coming back to the host is sharing these stories either on social media, with their friends, with their family, with other Airbnb hosts. I mean, they're trying to work out some of this themselves. And so it's perfectly normal. If you got a new job today and you showed up on the new job, when you come home tonight, you're going to have all kinds of stories to tell. Oh, there's this one woman and you're not going to believe how she dresses. And you make judgments and and then after you've worked there for a while, you're like, that's just Carrie. That's just who she is, And we let it slide because it's like driving the car. It's second nature to us. But right now in the beginning, it's not second nature. So everything is like super important, right? So that is the reason why people complain about the way that guests leave their home. But let me just make a suggestion to you. Don't ever be the guest that they complain about. When you leave, make sure that and this is my slogan, this is my tagline, leave the world a cleaner place than when you found it. And the reason for that is this: if you enter a space and you leave it cleaner, you have blessed that space. It blessed you, you blessed the space, and now you're gone. They only have positive things to say about you. And did you know this? On the Airbnb platforms, the host can also rate the guests. And so when you leave, they can write a review and say, oh my goodness, this person was spectacular. We really enjoyed having them. Then when you go to stay at the next Airbnb, that person can read your ratings and reviews and say, wow, this looks like a person that I would want to do business with. Yes, absolutely. Please come stay at our place. But did you know I belong to a group with lots and lots of Airbnb hosts, and they sit there and they're like, we are not having that person come in. I don't think so. And then they're like, let me check. Yeah, no, and they decline your offer. So although it might be a savings and it might be super close to where you're going to be, they'll decline your offer because they don't want to mess with you. So do not be the guest that leaves the place messy. Tidy everything up when you're done and treat it just like it was your own home, with respect, with care, with harmony, and like I say, leave it better than when you found it.